And when you try that many things, you're going to fail a lot of times, quote unquote fail. Again, not my favorite word to use, but you're going to have setbacks. You're going to have results that you didn't expect and that you don't want. And so what you need to do is correct what's going on the best you can and go for it again. And maybe you still didn't get it this time, but then you correct again based on what you've learned from the previous 2 attempts, and now you go for it again. And you just keep doing that. Hey, welcome back. It's Rob here with the 21 Success Secrets of Self-Made Millionaires by Brian Tracy. And this is chapter 19. We are almost done with this baby. Chapter 19 is called Be Decisive and Action-Oriented. And this is one of the huge, I keep saying that for every chapter, this is one of the huge keys, but they're all important. That's why. That's why I keep saying, I'm going to try and stop saying that for the last 2 videos. I will do my best to not say that because it kind of goes without saying. They're all important or they wouldn't be in here. But chapter 19, be decisive and action-oriented. This is the essence of assertiveness, right? Is making quick decisions and acting, taking action, right? And self-made millionaires, they make decisions quickly, right? They think carefully, but they make decisions quickly. And they draw on past experience to help make those decisions, and sometimes they just go with their gut, but they make decisions quickly because they know that they can pivot. All right? Most decisions, almost all decisions that we make, we can pivot. All right? We can change away when things don't go the way we wanted them to. Boom, we can make a shift in a new direction. There are some that are irreversible. I totally understand. Those are the ones you have to think most carefully about, right? But self-made millionaires make decisions quickly, okay? And what is a decision? Let's talk about this because, again, I like to go into the roots of things and I like to understand what it really means. I talked about that in a prior video. Decisions, okay? A decision, the word decision, okay? If you don't know this, some people know this already, but the word decision, the Latin root of the word decision is decidere, okay? Decidere means to cut off from, to kill, all right? I believe the original interpretation, I heard somewhere anyway, was to cut off the head, all right? Decidere. So what that means is cutting everything else off. When you decide, that's it, all right? You have made the decision and that's where you're going and there's no turning back. There's no wondering if I should do this, that, or the other. That's where indecisiveness comes from, right? Unsuccessful people are indecisive. They bounce from thing to thing to thing all the time, right? And they never really throw themselves into anything in particular. Maybe, some of us have had to work on that in the past. Maybe some of us are working on that right now, okay? And it's a process, all right? So I don't want anyone feeling bad out there about it, but what I want you to do is realize that in order to become more successful, you need to make faster decisions, okay? Make decisions quickly, all right? Successful people are willing to fail fast, and they often do, all right? And, you have to pick yourself up fast too, okay? So successful people fail fast, and then they pick themselves up, they self-correct, and they move forward, right? They don't dwell on mistakes. They don't dwell on things that didn't go their way. They don't blame things on other people, which was talked about way back at the beginning of this book, all right? They are action-oriented to the point where they try so many things that eventually they nail that one thing that unlocks the whole keys to the kingdom, right? That one thing. You'll never find it if you don't try a bunch of different things. Now, that seems to be contrary to what I just said about unsuccessful people. But what I'm saying with the contrast here is that what unsuccessful people do is they dip their toe in something. And they try something for a little while. Maybe they try, building an online business, and after 3 weeks they haven't made any sales and they haven't made any money, and so they quit. 3 weeks is like, come on, you got to give it a chance. Like, give it at least 6 months, like, before you're willing to quit something like that, okay? And maybe you realize that you're not cut out for it. But if you give yourself 6 months, I can almost guarantee that if you're trying at all, and if you're trying to learn and apply new things all the time so that you can get to where you want to go, you're going to get some success out of it, right? 3 weeks is not enough time to try that. or sometimes people, it's like 3 hours and then they're done. Like, all right. So that's what I mean. Unsuccessful people, they are caught up in the shiny object syndrome sometimes, where it's the next great thing out there, and oh, this isn't working, so I tried this for a week. I'm going to go and now I'm going to do this, and now I'm going to do this, and now I'm going to do this. And they never stick to something for long enough to find out if it actually is for them. Okay? But successful people, they try things and try things and try things until they find that thing that gives them the success they desire. All right? And when you try that many things, you're going to fail a lot of times, quote unquote, fail. Again, not my favorite word to use, but you're going to have setbacks. You're going to have results that you didn't expect and that you don't want. And so what you need to do is correct what's going on and the best you can and go for it again. And maybe you still didn't get it this time, but then you correct again based on what you've learned from the previous 2 attempts, and now you go for it again. And you just keep doing that, right? And one of my favorite examples, which has kind of become a cliche now as well, but it's a little unfortunate, but it's an older example from like the 1990s is when I heard it. But Tony Robbins said, you know, what do you think is the magic formula for learning how to walk, right? When you're a baby, when you're a kid, do you let's say you're a parent and you have a kid, all right? How many times are you going to let your kid try to walk before you cut them off and you're like, no, walking is not for you, you're done? That's preposterous, right? You would not do that, okay? Your kid is going to walk, you know, dang it. And so that's the key, right? And just like babies learning to walk, they fall down and they, you know, most of them, there's some, it's remarkable. There's some babies that like it's not the first try, but really close. And all of a sudden, boom, they just start walking. And I've seen it with my own eyes. It's insane how little they are. But most babies, most of us, when we were babies, it took a while. It took a lot of tries and a lot of quote unquote failures in order to get there, right? And so you, in that sense, you literally pick yourself up and you try to correct and you try to figure out, even if you're not, as a baby, you're not like logically trying, you know, deducing these things, but your body kind of, you know, starts to figure things out, and your brain and your body are connected in a way that they work together, even though you don't understand what's going on, right? And so you are eventually able to walk. No wonder that almost everyone in the world walks, right? And that's the key, is you've got to keep moving forward, and you've got to self-correct, and when you fall down, you've got to pick yourself up, okay? So this gets back into being decisive and action-oriented, because again, you need to be willing to put yourself out there and try stuff. You need to be willing to act, all right? Develop a bias for action, as Brian Tracy wrote about in a different chapter of this book, all right? And for this chapter, your action step is that you have to constantly ask yourself this one question. This is the closing of the chapter, more or less. Constantly ask yourself this one question, okay? What one action, if I took it now, would have the greatest positive effect, the greatest positive impact on my life, right? What one action would move the needle the most? All right. And once you answer that question, do it. Okay. Like Nike says, just do it. All right. Great advice from a shoe company. Just do it. All right. Figure out what it is that you think would be the most effective way to act right now toward getting yourself to your goal, and do it. Okay. That's what you have to do, and decide. All right. Being decisive is all about cutting yourself off from other options. All right. And this is the path. Or in The Mandalorian, they would say this is the way, right? So, make decisions quickly, all right? Develop a bias for action. Remember what decidere means, what decide, the root of the word decide means, okay? It means cut yourself off from the other possibilities, okay? Decide, commit, go for it, right? And don't worry about failure, and be willing to fail fast, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and move forward, okay? So if this helped at all for you, if you got something out of this, put a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you want to. The most important thing, of course, that I want to see is the comments. I love the comments section, so bring the comments, please. because that is what fuels this whole thing. And again, if you are not a part of the community by now, you really should be. It is www.yoursoulsource.com/resources. That is where you can find resources for the books and the seminars and the courses that are covered on this channel in these videos. And you can also join the community and become a part of something bigger where we are all working toward achieving success together. All right, we got 2 chapters left, 20 and 21. So I will see you next time in chapter 20. Be there.
I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me.